A lot of concern about what the post office is doing to our democracy and what Trump and his cronies are doing to the post office, and including the new postmaster, who, by the way, apparently hasn't yet met with election officials about mail-in ballot concerns. So these are like secretaries of state of a number, like dozens of states that have wanted to meet with him to find out, hey, so like, are you going to let us have an election? And he hasn't met with him yet. He's apparently been busy. But there might be an important event on his calendar in the very near future, with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi saying on Sunday that she's calling lawmakers back to session this week to vote on a bill that would bar changes to the U.S. Postal Service amid fears over delayed ballots. Look, that sounds okay. I feel like a lot of the damage has already been done. I don't know. It seems like an oddly, we're looking forward, not looking backwards thing when he's already fired tons of their top officials. They've already cut the funding and all of that. I feel like that little preview of what she's going to do better be just the ground floor if we're to have any hope of repairing the damage before the election.
Yeah, I mean, I am glad she's calling Congress back in session and the House back. I hope they're not flying back and forth a bazillion times and putting themselves at risk, given that we're in a pandemic. It feels just so toothless that the only thing we can do is find out what is actually going on and then not be able to change any of it. It'll be another one of those hearings where every House Republican will be like, this Patriots family has been dragged through the mud, and then the Democrats are like, no, you can't actually remove mail sorters. Don't you understand that does? And he's like, well, they were old mail sorters and they'd been planning to phase them out for years. Like, we can see it. I will act it out for you as I'm trying to do. But what scares me about this, though, is DeJoy is a former logistics executive. Now, I don't really know what logistics are. I think people in the comments can know better. But from my understanding, it is exactly shipping and receiving and delivery and communications and sorting and all the kinds of things that make business run, right? Logistics are incredibly powerful. They employ a lot of people. And so out of all the stupid moves, right? Rick Perry, and who is the former EPA head that I've completely blotted out of my brain?
Oh yeah, the one with all the scandals about tactical cargo pants and
yes.
Yeah.
All of the dumb appointments. This actually seems like an incredibly smart one if you're trying to disrupt and completely undermine. Yes, Pruitt, yeah. Scott Pruitt. If you're trying to the Cabbage Patch baby head, I remember, yeah, which is where I am right now, in the Cabbage Patch.
No, I think you're right, though, that this seems like a particular, this is a guided warhead to accomplish, the mission that it has. And that does make it more scary. Ben Carson is the head of HUD to make sure that HUD doesn't get anything done for 4 years. That's what he's there for. But some of these appointments are specifically going in there to try to do so much damage that it accomplishes their goal, but also it makes it as difficult as possible to ever put back together again. And so that's what I think we're seeing with DeJoy right now. And it's devastating. And by the way, it's a reminder that, look, so it's looking like we're going to have an election, hopefully, and it's looking like we're going to find out who won at some point, and it's looking like there could be a potentially peaceful transfer of power. So all that's great, yay. But back before Trump got elected, when some of us were saying simply handing over power to him as some sort of experiment could be dangerous because we don't know if we ever get another chance. And hopefully we will. Maybe we still will. But what's going on in the post office right now is the sort of thing that we were warning about. Because once you give them power, they can do with it what they want. Like you said sort of sarcastically, you can't just remove mail sorting machines. But we gave him the power to choose the person who chooses whether they remove as many as they want, or shut down polling places, or change the date, or do whatever. That was all what we were warning about. The ability, we were worried about manipulations of the election when Trump had no power to do it personally. Now, he has God only knows how many different ways that he could do that. We handed that to him with the bet that we'll probably get it back at some point.
No, it's the bet that because you're president, you will respect the norms. They're not really laws. We don't actually have checks and balances, apparently. These are just norms because we're all respectable people and we all went to Yale or wherever, right? Like, the answer is no. And I can't take one more NPR podcast that's like, can he do that? You know, and all this. It's like, you're absolutely right. He can, he has. And what are we going to do going forward? I don't need all the hearings unless we're going to actually insulate our democracy from any authoritarian doing the same thing. I don't care where they stand politically. Yeah. All right. We need to make sure that is there a citizen review board? Can you not, go forward with any changes to the USPS until these 25 citizens randomly chosen, it's like jury duty, are voting off and signing off on this. So, and on top of that, I just want to say that we know that, for example, the Federal Elections Commission has been completely divided on partisan lines. And I think that so much of what's going on in this country in what is supposed to be checks and balances has been so utterly polarized and utterly made so partisan that even the things and the protections that we do have are completely hamstrung, which is it is an absolute argument to have more than two parties. It's an argument to have more citizen oversight. It's an argument to have more bodies that are supposedly like the Supreme Court, which is supposedly nonpartisan. We all know that's BS, but you know what I'm aiming at.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.